First started, we kept talking about COOL, which was country of origin labeling. We pushed to get the meat labeled so in the store people would know where your meat came from, just like your can of beans, your shirt you're wearing. All we wanted was a tag that would say product of USA. Well, over the last year or two, there was other groups, some of them even Cattlemen's groups that are looking for your money too, that say they support you, that said we didn't need COOL, we didn't want it. It discriminated against other countries. It was an added burden to the packers. It was just an added government regulation. I guess last year that was ruled down and it's been taken out of effect. You still see it in place sometimes, but that's more voluntary, I think, than anything at this point. And lo and behold, now all of a sudden, January 1st, what are we all hearing? Brazil's going to be sending us meat over here, okay? Well, they're opening up the doors for Brazil to send some of their meats to our country. And the packers are wanting to have it set up to where as long as they bring it in here and they process it, that they can send it back out and say product of U.S. Well, isn't that sweet? You know, Brazilian meat's going to come in here and get sold right along with ours for the same price. The consumer won't know what they're getting. All they're knowing is they're getting meat at the grocery store. So those are issues similar to that we fight against. We have people that go, Bill especially goes to Austin and works on those issues. He stays in touch with other people. We have an organization I guess we're affiliated with called the WCN, which goes to Washington, and they work on those issues. But it's so important to be a part of something. I had somebody in the store in Lavernia yesterday, and he's not here, but I wouldn't mention his name anyway. We talked about these issues, and he said, you know, somehow or another we just all need to get together and work against those things. And I looked at him and said, well, that's kind of what we're doing. So, but we need people, and that's what it's all about. I mean, again, we have a good time here, and thankfully I'm busy, so I don't have the time to go to Austin or go to Washington, but that's part of what these groups do, is we have people to represent us. So again, thank you for coming, and I'm going to give Bill just a few more minutes and then we'll be closing out.
Good evening. I kind of feel like the caboose into the train here, but you know, a while ago the speaker talked about you know, the motto in Austin is keep Austin weird. You know where the legislature meets? You know where all our state politicians' office is? Austin. They're surrounded by all the people that went to the University of Texas and all the weird people. The University of Texas people aren't that bad. Of course, they're not having a very good football year, and A&M is 6-0. I will remind you that. But anyway, you've got these groups that want to help you. They want to help you raise your cattle. They also want to help you raise your children, but right now we're talking about cattle. They want to make sure that they have adequate space, that you take care of them, that you provide shelters for them in the winter. And when it rains, you have a place for them to go. And when they calve, they need to be in a solitary area away from the other cattle so they won't get nervous to have their calves. They want you to not dehorn them, not castrate them, not give them any kind of vaccinations. And if one does get sick, it's okay to use a small amount of antibiotics. However, that animal has to be kept away from the herd for at least 90 days. If you move them in a trailer, they have to have so many square feet unless they have horns. And if they have horns, they have to have twice as much square feet. But I don't know why you'd move them in the trailer anywhere, because they don't want you to kill them. They think that's bad. So all of you that are raising cattle, if you want them to do that, we're just going to raise cattle, and we'll have pet cows and pet bulls and more cows and more bulls, because they'll just keep getting more and more.
Yeah, won't have to worry about my clothes.
No, and you know, you won't have to worry about your clothes. You won't have to shred. But I mean, they have no idea of what the farmers and the ranchers do to provide food for the rest of the world. Whether it's GMO grains, whether it's the poultry industry with the they call them factory chicken houses. But I'm going to tell you, they're raising a broiler chick right now. The poultry industry is in 34 days. They're raising a 4-pound chicken, and they're saying, well, they've got hormones and they're giving them shots. You know what? They're not doing anything to them. They grow them so fast that they don't even have a chance to get sick. You know, but now they've got, used to, back a long time ago when I was a chicken raiser, we had broilers. You had a weak one, you just walked up, grabbed him, and did that and walked on, He was a cub. Now you cannot do that. There's a certain procedure where you pick the chicken up and you put your thumb on a part of the vertebrae or the neck and you squeeze down where first he can't feel anything and then second you sever his neck. It's gone crazy. And every so often you'll have somebody undercover. Cattlemen Farms a couple of years ago there in Gonzales, they had a guy get in there and he showed the dead chickens in the cages, the hens, that were left there for 3 or 4 days at a time, and the others were stomping on them and they were dead. It was a horrible picture. And the reason this guy got those pictures so close up, he had gone to work for Cattlemen as an undercover person for PETA. And you know what his job was to do? Is take out the dead chickens every day. Now that's the kind, but they didn't say that on television. All you got was, look at this horrible, poor little old chicken that's been mashed up and the others are having to walk on it. I mean, that's what we're facing in Austin and in Washington. This session, we're going to have about probably 6,000 bills that will be introduced. And we have a group of ag interested people like myself, and we go up there every week and we read all those new bills. Now, one person can't read them all, so we split up the bills and we read them and we look at them and we make sure there's nothing in there that affects agriculture, private property rights, the way you raise your animals, the way you live your rural life. And it could be eminent domain. It could be the budget. Like right now, they've cut all the state agencies because income is less for the state. Sales tax is down. Oil and gas taxes are down. I would say real estate taxes, but the state doesn't get that. They're not down either. But we faced a little bit of a budget crunch. After the lieutenant governor and the speaker of the House told, after they got the expected budget from Glenn Hager, the comptroller, they said, okay, we're going to have this much over the next biennium, 2 years. This is what the budget could be. Well, after they did that, and they told all the agencies to submit their budget for the next 2 years, but you need to take a 10 to 15% cut. So they all did. They sent it in because they spent a lot the last 2 years because things were really good. And there's an excess. Well, once we start in January, the first probably 60 to 90 days is going to be fighting over the budget because there's some money out there and all these agencies are going to want it. The Animal Health Commission, which is very important to us because of the fever tick, because of trichomoniasis, because of the fever that they're having in horses, pyroplasmosis, and some other things that I can't even pronounce. Fever ticks, the area that we have ticks in because of all this rain along the coastline, there's a large federal government land refuge. And in that refuge, there's nilgai and white-tailed deer. And the nilgai are transporting the fever ticks from Mexico where they cross the river faster than the aliens do. And they get over into Texas and they don't know what a fence is. They just walk over them or go through them or go under them. And they're bringing ticks up the coastline. And they're almost about halfway to Corpus right now. There's about, I think, 900,000 acres that's under quarantine. And we're having to do this. And because the nilgai are a federal species, it's okay for us to fly a helicopter and kill them and get rid of them. The problem is that everybody agrees they should be killed, but because we have to go through the EPA, the U.S. Fish and Game, the Park Service, and Department of Agriculture, and several others, we're still watching the nilgai carry the fever ticks. And it's just about on the edge of the King Ranch. It's about 2.5 miles from the King Ranch right now. And when the King Ranch gets the fever ticks, they have 81 different neighbors because they're so large. So it could really get bad. Well, the Animal Health Commission is one of the smallest agencies. They don't have about 137 employees all over the state. That counts the guys on the river riding. It's inspectors that come to the sale barns and the flea markets and everything else, and plus the people in Austin, the people that run their labs. Their budget is about $10 million after the cuts. They need about $14 million, $4 million. That's like me giving all of y'all a penny. I mean, it's nothing. And we've got to get in there and fight for them. They have a new executive director, Dr. Schwartz. He works with us. I'm on about 4 committees for the Animal Health Commission, advisory committees. We've done a good job. It's just like trichomoniasis. We had that problem. Some of the people wanted us to quarantine everything, and if you had trick, you'd be quarantined. They'd make you sell your cattle. We said, We've been there once already with brucellosis. We fought it. We'll fight this. And they said, okay, what do you want to do? We said, let's do a voluntary program. And then let's make a rule that says any bull over a certain age that's not a virgin has to have a trick test to be sold back to the public. We got those things done. You folks have worked within that program. You've accepted it, and we've just about got trick under control. I won't say eradicated because we'll probably never get it eradicated, but it's worked. And we need to make sure that the Animal Health Commission gets the money they need. The way we do that is probably 10% of the population in Texas is in rural areas. The other 90% is in the cities. Probably more like 20-80. But anyway, the people in the cities, about 1/3 of them vote. You guys have always, a lot of you have voted. We need to get that up to about 90%. So instead of being 15 to 20% of the state population of voters, because that's what they think about when they're in Austin. They don't think about the total population. They think about the number of people that voted, because that's what got them there. And they're going to look in their district, and they're going to see how many people voted in Falls City, how many people voted in Floresville. And a lot of these districts go into the big areas. But I can tell you, if we get enough people on the outskirts, instead of thinking about San Antonio or Houston or Austin, they're going to start thinking about, wait a minute, I've got 3 other counties out here, and that was a lot of votes. And if I don't take care of them, I might not get it. That's how we do it. We go in and we vote. You can vote for whoever you want. I wish I could tell you how to vote because I have my own opinions, but being an Aggie, I won't do that because you'd probably say, oh, that dumb Aggie doesn't know what he's talking about. But vote. If there's somebody it's terrible and you can't vote for either one, don't vote for either one. But get in there, sign up, vote. There's bound to be there's a bunch of people running that are unopposed. Vote some of them. Flip a coin on the justices, whatever you want to do. You like a name, Abraham Lincoln, Lyndon Johnson, vote for him or not vote for him, whatever. But do vote. Go down and vote. If early voting starts, I think the 24th? 24th? Go vote. Vote for your local people. Vote for the state people. Vote for the federal people. But vote. Show them that we've got a lot of numbers and that we give a darn. Because that's what we've got to get. Because when we get up there, right now, I'm going to Austin about once every 2 weeks and meeting with some of the legislatures, especially the new legislatures that got up there, because we want to talk to them about what it takes to raise cattle, what it takes to live in the country, what it takes to why we need ag valuation on land. If they want cheap food and they want to eat, we can't pay commercial rates on our property or market value. When we buy feed, when we buy tractor fuel, when we buy whatever, implements and stuff, we need that ag sales tax exemption. And whenever they always start looking for more money over there, there's always there's one person in Dallas, it's a state representative, that every 2 years, she brings up the fact that we need to get rid of that because some of the country clubs buy herbicides and pesticides and don't pay taxes on it. And she thinks that's just horrible. Of course, I wonder where she ate that day because we probably produced the food for her. But that's what we've got to educate those people, and we've got to make sure that they understand that we're the nature conservators. It's not those people sitting in the HSUSA office or the PETA office in Austin. You guys are the ones that are taking care of animals. We take care of the land because it's not like we strip mine it and give it away. You take care of it so your kids can have it. Your parents took care of it so you could have it. Your grandparents took care of it. And that's what we do. We do that just matter of fact. We've been conservators and we've been green since we started. These other people think it's a new deal and they're going to teach us something. We don't need to be taught anything. We just need to do things right, and we need to vote. And right now we're having cattle drive. If you're a member, you got a letter, and basically we're asking for donations. We have a full-time lobbyist, Bob Turner, up there. He's a former state representative. He was several times the chairman of the Ag Committee, and Bob knows every person up there. And he is the most powerful ag person that's there. We share him with two other groups that are both ag groups. And we're darn lucky to have him, because if we need something, a bill killed, he can go up there and he can get it done. But we got to pay the guy. So if you feel like sending a donation, we'd appreciate it. If it's $5, $10, 5,000, we'll take it. But anyway, like we said, we're going to have a sale October 21st in Gonzales at J.B. Wells, at just south of Gonzales, the big rodeo arena out there. We're in the little building. We'll start getting the